Let's get one thing straight up front. Just because you've seen a video of a guy building a cabin in the woods doesn't mean that you know how it's going to go for you. Most of those builds, they've got crews, they've got budgets, they've got years of experience off camera. What you don't see is the prep, the planning, and the problems that come with every post hole and power line. The reality is, when you leave the grind behind, you're stepping away from every safety net you're used to. There's no 24-hour hardware stores, there's no delivery truck, and if your truck breaks down, you'd better know someone with a trailer, or be ready to wait weeks for parts. So before we get into strategy, I'm here to reset your expectations, not to discourage you, but equip you, because the people who thrive off-grid, they're not the ones chasing a dream, they're the ones willing to learn the dirt. Most people think buying land means freedom. What they don't realize is, once you go off-grid, even the simplest things, like groceries, fuel, a bag of concrete, turn into an all-day trip. You're not just buying dirt, you're buying distance, and that distance can break you if you're not ready. This is a survival broadcast. It's not a performance. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to give you realistic hope. And if you're still listening, you're one of the few. This is the first in a 5-part series on what it really takes to buy land and go off-grid. I'm not selling you a prepper dream package or reading off a real estate brochure. I'm talking about the raw, unfiltered reality. Because a lot of folks are rushing into land deals they don't understand, ending up stuck, broke, or overwhelmed before they ever get a shelter up. That's why I trust Stephanie at openairproperties.net. She's not just selling land, she's finding property that actually works for people trying to live free. When I told her I had no car, that I was building everything from scratch, she found me a spot that fits to this day. So if you're looking to buy and you're not trying to get scammed or shuffled, go talk to her at openairproperties.net. Now, let's dig into the core truth of this episode. Why the freedom of land ownership comes with a cost most people never see coming. Back in 2013, I walked into my first real property, not with a realtor, but with a copy of a local code, a wrench, and a whole lot of duct tape. It wasn't a glamorous piece of land. It was reclamation. I didn't pay market price. I fought through legal paperwork, setbacks, and city red tape to turn the structure into something I could live in. And even then, I had no illusions. That house taught me that owning something isn't security, it's responsibility. You think your problems end when you sign the deed? That's when they start showing up with price tags. Septic backflow? Your problem. Broken pipe? Your problem. Roof leaks in the middle of monsoon season? You'd better know how to tarp fast. And when I got to Arizona, it was the same deal, but with higher stakes. Out here, everything has to be hauled. There's no margin for guesswork. If you miscalculate a build by even a day or two, you could lose weeks of supply delays. Or worse, burn out because your budget didn't account for the unexpected delays. I didn't go into this with stars in my eyes. The first time I had a house of my own, back in 2013, through adverse possession, I realized something most people miss. Buying land or property doesn't mean you've made it. It means that you've just signed up for more responsibility. People think owning land is the finish line. It's not. It's the starting gate. You don't have a landlord anymore. That sounds good, right? Until you're the one who has to pay for the tools, the labor, the materials, the fuel, the parts, the fix when fixes go wrong, the repair after repair. And that's in the city, where resources are nearby and prices are stable. Out here, if you're off-grid, everything changes. Resources aren't just expensive, they're far away. If you're trying to build a new life while living on a fixed income or relying on local work, you're going to find out quickly that economics, not ambition, is what buries most people. The truth is, most people don't fail out here because they didn't want it bad enough. They fail because they couldn't make it pencil out. That's why, before you think about buying land, building anything, or going off-grid, you need to understand the terrain you're stepping into. And I don't just mean dirt and trees. I mean finances, local economies, what access looks like when the nearest store is 45 miles away and you're on foot. This isn't just a lifestyle, it's a systems overhaul. And if you're not ready to become your own provider, mechanic, hauler, water guy, trash service, and planner, you're going to run out of fuel, food, or funds long before you build your dream. So the first mistake most people make is not surveying the land. Let me give you an example. I know someone who bought 5 acres without stepping foot on it. They trusted the listing photos, big open land, flat terrain, easy access. Reality? It was on a slope, cut by 2 dry washes, and no legal easement to the road. Couldn't get a septic permit, couldn't park a trailer legally, and had to resell it all at a loss because the county wasn't budging. Mistake number 2, planning for resource management. Let's say you haul water once a week in a 275-gallon tote. You drive 45 minutes each way, spend $20 on fuel, and hope nothing spills. Now imagine your tank cracks in winter. You're stuck with no water, no backup, and no plan. This happens more often than you think. I've had people reach out mid-emergency asking what to do. And I tell them, the planning happens before the tank goes dry, not after. Mistake number 3, bringing the sanity mentality with you. You'd be amazed how many people roll into Concho with a don't talk to me attitude. They don't wave. They don't introduce themselves. They treat every neighbor like a threat or a stranger. And then they wonder why no one helps when they break down on the side of a dirt road. Out here, you earn community. And you do that by showing respect, not by hiding behind fences and keeping score. I've watched a lot of people chase this dream, and I've seen just as many get wrecked by it. Not because they didn't care, not because they weren't tough enough, but because they made 3 avoidable mistakes that cost them time, money, or their entire build. These 3 mistakes don't just delay your dream, they destroy it. But the good news is, every one of them is preventable. You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be a contractor. You just need to show up, ready to learn, walk the land, and let go of the city version of success. I'm not the only one Stephanie has helped. One of my subscribers has been trying to buy land for over 7 years. 7 years. He's been following this channel since I first started, back when I didn't have land either. Just a voice, a mission, and a camera. And when he saw that I finally got a piece of land, and that it wasn't some drawn-out nightmare, it lit a fire in him again. He had tried everything. Talked to banks, looked at dozens of listings, even tried going through sellers who promised no credit checks, only to get rejected or misled every single time. But when he talked to Stephanie, the story changed. She didn't just show him land, she helped him understand what would work for his budget, his life, and his obstacles he'd been running into. That deal went through. He got his land. After 7 years of frustration, he finally got a foothold. And I share that because it's not about selling property, it's about building possibility. Stephanie isn't a shortcut. She's the person who opens the right door, so you're not running headfirst into the wrong ones. The biggest mistake people make when they chase off-grid land is thinking that the land will make them free. And it won't. The land is a starting line, not a finish line. And just because you bought dirt doesn't mean you're ready for what the dirt demands. Freedom doesn't come from purchase. It comes from preparation, from discipline, from understanding how to live without being plugged into a system that feeds, funds, and fixes everything for you. That's why this 5-part series isn't about selling you a fantasy. It's about giving you the truth before the money's actually spent and the dream starts cracking. And that's also why I keep pointing people to Stephanie at openairproperties.net. I didn't just trust her with the land deal, I trusted her with my future. She listened, she found something that worked for my situation. No car, no nearby store, no endless budget, just a real human trying to build a real life. She was honest from the jump. Her contracts were clean, easy to understand, no surprises. And I say that as someone who's worked with contracts for years. She made it clear without playing games. But what really matters is that she gets it. She's not just in this to sell land. She's part of this community. People who believe in self-reliance, local community, and building something that actually lasts. She believes in America's ethos, not just the surface level slogans, but the deeper stuff: resilience, liberty, and earning your way forward. So if you're ready to take that first step, don't just pick the first cheap listing you find. Go talk to someone who actually understands what you're trying to build. Visit openairproperties.net and use the promo code FriarTuck to get $50 off your deposit. And if you're not just land shopping, if you're looking for truth in a world full of noise, come hang out with me. I go live every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at hobotuck.com, unfiltered, uncensored, and not tied to any platform that tells me what I can or can't say. The show's not for everyone, but if you've made it this far, it's probably for you. The next episode, we'll talk about what makes land actually buildable: zoning, easements, septic requirements, and the hidden costs that turn cheap land into dead ends. Until then, remember, don't buy the dream, learn the dirt. And I'll see you in the next broadcast, Rebels.